Ekaterina, thank you very much for stopping by at our pop-up studio at Seamless. Can you please shortly introduce yourself? What do you do? Which company are you from?
Sure. Hey, nice to meet you here. So, my name is Ekaterina. I'm from Flowwow. It's a gifting marketplace. We help people to spread love and to send flowers and gifts.
Oh, really?
Globally.
How big is your platform?
We are in plus 30 countries. So we work internationally. We work in UAE, of course, this is the fastest growing market for us. But also we operate in Spain, UK, Turkey, US, Mexico, Brazil, and many other countries.
All the countries where they love flowers, right?
In
UAE, they definitely do love
Pretty
flowers.
much, yeah.
So what brings you to Seamless?
So, because I work actually, my job is to manage operations on the global side in Flowwow. So, it's always interesting to see what the trends are, connect with people, meet with our partners, and to see actually what's around.
It's just interesting to see what is the intersection between the flowers and digitalization, honestly. But I think that's what your company is about, isn't it? So you're spreading love and flowers with the help of a digital platform.
Exactly. We make it easy for people to share love, to show the gratitude.
Wow. And how has Seamless been so far for you? Have you met any interesting people? Have you had any interesting trends that will help to actually foster your business?
I think I've met actually a few interesting contacts, to be fair. We'll see how it will go. Because in fact, we partner up with many different companies, small, large, because everyone gives gifts. So for us, it's always beneficial to get into their loyalty programs, to join different podcasts, to manage our PR and stuff like that. So everything makes our brand stronger. So I believe that some of the connections might be useful, but you never know. We'll see. I'm being optimistic so far.
So you mentioned managing PR or anything at the event like that to make sure that your brand credibility is increasing, your brand visibility is increasing. So what are the ways you think, what are the modern ways for the brand like yours to achieve a maximum level of credibility and visibility?
So first of all, our main value is actually we care about our customers.
Yeah.
So respecting the customer is the key for the brand, in my opinion. So we managed to make sure that it's easy to use. We don't bombard with spam messages like some IT companies do these days to actually get more sales. We manage to people to share our app more. So we work strongly on the CRM marketing, on partnerships, build stronger connections with people, providing more value to our customers. And also we are verifying our sellers. So if, for example, we see that there are a lot of cancellations or it's long delivery, there are a lot of things that we need to manage actually to make sure that our relationships with the audience work well. Also, of course, we are being very transparent. We are presented in different social media channels. We're making a lot of PR. There are a lot of channels that has to be worked simultaneously to gain the credibility altogether. If companies try to just push on one thing, for example, performance marketing, it would be unlikely to gain credibility. So you have to build a team which is able to actually manage it with a cross-cultural environment and make everything work all together. So it's about the structure.
Do you think conversations like that? Are helping to expand the mediums with which your brand is building that credibility? For example, you mentioned PR, you mentioned social media. Obviously, there's some message and narrative being pushed out there that helps you to build connection with your audience. Do you think conversations like that, there's a space, there's a place for them?
Yeah, I believe because everywhere you spread the word about Flowwow, people then can go Google it or, for example, check in social media and Instagram, Snapchat, everywhere, and they will find us immediately. And it will give the credibility. It depends on the amount of audience, but I'm sure that everybody give flowers for happy birthdays, for the birthdays, for different celebrations. Eid al-Adha is coming soon in MENA. So, I believe it's one of their ways to get more
But
customers.
what is the unique point of value in the podcasting conversations like that when it comes to your PR, brand credibility, marketing, etc.?
I think, to be honest, this kind of channel is not as much as bringing customers on the platform, but more to actually to spread the knowledge and be a part of the business community.
Definitely a network and build closer, more loyal relationship with, the speaker. If the speaker, for example, a client, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because if the managers in the company are not sharing their knowledge and you're unable to actually get this exchange and be in trends as well. Like I believe, that's why I love IT. IT has been always the most transparent industry I've ever worked in. And sharing is caring, you know?
That's true. So what, are you a podcast consumer yourself?
Me? Yeah.
So how do you consume your podcasts? Listening or watching? Or
I love niche talks.
Really?
Like
professional or more of a lifestyle?
Professional. Like more niche the topic is, more I like it. Because I believe that's usually my way of speaking when I present on stage, and that's the same podcast I like to consume. Like if, for example, they would be like, okay, what is how to increase your, how to make sure that your CRM marketing work with the WhatsApp channel in UAE. Like if something like this is going to be presented, I would be probably going to listen to it for sure. Because it will be very specific, very niche, and more likely that people would share some real life examples where the marketing for them worked. And that's what's interesting for me to listen, because then we might apply it or see what didn't work. Like this is an experience of other people that we can learn.
So what will make you listen to a professional podcast from A to Z, like for example, from start to finish? What should it be? A length full of insights, probably a speaker, or what will make it?
It really depends. It really depends. Sometimes I can listen to, I can stop it after 10 minutes, or I can listen for 2 hours. It depends on the value that is provided. If from the start the person is being straight to the point, not vague, or share an example, example that happened in the company, then it's interesting to listen. If it's vague, like for example, right now I'm speaking vague. This is not clear. I would cut here.
So are you likely to consume an advertising within a podcast like that?
I don't mind. I believe that podcasters also, they provide value. They need to make money. Come on.
But what format of the advertising would be the most organic for you, let's say? So what would you as a consumer skip? Yes.
I love a few podcasts where people actually make the real production of the ads, like where they present the brand in a new, fresh way, and it naturally gets inside the podcast. So you actually want to finish watching this ad. Of course, it takes a lot of effort, money, and time to produce such ads, but also I believe it's less likely that people will scroll it. So that's my favorite. Or if it's short, that's also fine.
But do you think there's a place for advertising still, for the digital advertising, as there's a lot of advertising and a lot of disruptive one. If you take, for example, YouTube, same about, let's say, audio platforms. But do you think going forward there's still a place for advertising like that? Or as a consumer, would you prefer to consume it in a different way? Would you prefer to be advertised differently?
It's a hard question. I think today's consumer is already get used to it. So I don't see it as a big problem. The amount of advertising that is growing, I wouldn't say YouTube is still being more or less all right, but Meta is going crazy about it, in my opinion. Like amount of ads that they're pushing to the people right now. Like I almost stopped using Instagram, to be honest, because of the amount of advertisement. And if we're speaking about podcasts, of course, you don't want to see the ad every 2 seconds. But the way how to use it, it's a tough question. If it's more natively inside their podcast, then it's fine. Because I believe that we need to advertise in order to spread the word of the good value company, like where they provide value, actually.
Yeah.
How else you would find out if not for the advertisement?
In my opinion, it has to
Stand
evolve
with
in
their,
a
like,
way
hey.
because we're all about consumer and creator economy, right? And I mean, the competition is tough. And if advertisers do not find a way how to advertise more organically, I mean, they'll probably lose the audience in advertising. But it's just my humbled opinion, frankly speaking.
I agree with you.
A question to you, let's say about podcasting. If you were to run a podcast for your company, would you first of all consider it to be as a powerful tool or a channel to advertise your company? And what would it be? Yes.
Okay. I think that it's much easier to start the podcast if you have already the personal brand, for example, or if the company has a brand. And also then you need to choose the topics. You must use clickbaits and you must use something which is trendy. Then it can work, like 100%. And collaboration is also the key of the import. For example, if somebody, because it depends, like what kind, what do you want to do with the podcast? Do you want to utilize your own brand, your own name, or you want to actually invite people? So you need to use the key people that already has the audience. So that's why, like, influencers or people with a personal brand are more likely to be invited to spread your podcast, spread the word about your podcast. That it just makes sense.
Which brings me to the question, so do you think visibility is the way to market nowadays? Is visibility a new way to market brands?
What do you mean by visibility here?
Being visible on different mediums, on social media, on the stages, on the platforms, during podcasting, on TV, in advertising. And visibility is where people can see you and find you.
Absolutely. Of course, absolutely. The attention of the audience is the most valuable thing today. Like, if you grab the attention, if you are able to actually sell anything. So more visibility you have, you're more likely to have more customers. It's just like a supply-demand thing.
So when it comes to this region, have you come across any interesting podcasts that you would listen to on a regional level?
Here in MENA, you know what? Like,
you don't have to have the right answer, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe you prefer the short form.
It's a tough question. I don't remember the names. I have a few saved in my YouTube list, but I don't remember.
But what
the
is that?
exact
What are the
name.
topics?
Marketing.
And why are you interested? Why are you interested in those specific tracks?
Because again, you need to learn from the other people to actually use their experience to make sure that you don't repeat them or find new ideas, new insights. You can always learn from there.
So, are you looking for some regional aspects in that particular tracks that you saved? So you want to know more about what's happening in the region specifically with regards to your.
So in this case, I usually go after two segment of people, foreigners who do business in MENA, and see actually how they manage to what are their struggles to build their international business. That would be number one. And the second one, locals. Actually, how local already operating. What local ways they're using around MENA.
So do you find the local content, the regional content, credible enough for you is it
in English?
In
Not
English.
Local,
so is it credible enough for you? So does it have enough credibility and trust for you to learn from?
That's a tough question to ask. I don't take anything by word until I see the numbers. I strongly believe in data.
Yeah.
So for example, if it's easy to test, for example, the idea that I get from the podcast or anywhere else from Seamless, for example, then okay, it's just a simple test. And if their numbers are showing greatly there, then okay, we're going to continue using it. But if it doesn't, I would rather believe the numbers than something that I've heard.
No, what I mean by that, for example, you mentioned that you've got a few tracks, regional tracks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The tracks, I mean, a few pieces of content, podcasts that you would like to listen to get more into regional insights.
Yeah.
And the question is, Do you think there's enough trust and credibility into content that is created regionally for you to learn?
I would still confirm it with our consultants that we have.
So you will need to reconfirm whether
Yeah.
the facts and the data
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
used within that conversation is
100%.
really...
Yeah.
So from that perspective, what do you think the original content really lacks to be able to upgrade itself to a very credible and trustworthy content?
Honestly, I don't think that's the problem of the credibility. It's the problem of me not being local enough. So I think that's the thing. It's like when I need to admit that like I shouldn't I need to verify certain information unless like I can see that okay, our business is growing like extend within like for example first quarters, then okay, then I would be like more trustworthy on my own opinion where you get to the point like okay, this I can feel my gut, but I'm not there yet. So like that's why I'd rather verify to make sure that we do something that is gonna more likely to work than waste time. Verification, like confirmation, takes not as much time. And to make the podcast become more credible, to get back to your question, I believe that working with influencers, famous brands, that's the things like presenting on the conferences. Those are the things that make the brand stronger, because like if you see somebody that you already trust, then you become more credible, like as simple as that.
And to probably wrap up the conversation about podcasting, if we are talking, if we're having this conversation in 3 years from now, what would it be? What would be the core sort of themes, trends? Let's put it this way: highlights, all right, of this conversation. Are we talking podcasting? Are we talking AI? Are we talking automation everywhere, digitalization? So what do you think it would be?
I hope not as much AI. But actually, okay, like AI became so common, so like it's impossible. Like everybody use AI daily, on daily basis, everywhere, implementing it everywhere. So AI 100% is going to be there. Trends are going to be there. And
When it comes to marketing in your company, what would it be? What would be the conversation about? Do you think?
How we I hope that we're gonna be speaking about how do we deal with the rapid growth. That's I like.
Okay, all right, definitely that's
or how we manage to expand to Saudi, Qatar, and Kuwait, because this is their following plans that we have.
Is there any specific plan in mind on how to rapidly grow from now?
Yeah, we do have the plan in mind. We already set it up. For example, to expand to MENA, we need to basically to get the localization done. So now that's what our tech team is working on.
Brilliant. So whenever you're ready for the podcasting trend and absorbing into your marketing strategy, at least you've got the ecosystem ready for you.